So, nothing really major to announce. Obviously, a little delay getting here, but no big deal. I think everybody in the party did a great job handling that. And then probably I don't know if you guys have heard the rumor, but I just want to set the record straight. San Diego has not reached out to me at all. It's been really quiet. So I did look at a job there in '96, but haven't heard from them since. So take that off the rumor board. Okay. But yeah, I'll fire away for questions.
So the Chargers are moving?
Yeah,
They're
Chargers.
moving this back.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was San Diego when I visited there, but it's been a few years. Like 30.
Dan Gable always talked about if you can't win the championship, get the next best prize.
Yep.
And in your case, the next best prize is an 11th win, which has only happened 3 other times. How much of that is a conversation, and is it a motivation at all?
Our attitude's always been, we're always trying to be a championship level outfit, and that's, all you can do is your attitude and your effort. Those are two things that everybody can control. Talent, experience, all those things vary year to year. But that's always been our goal, and each and every season, that's what we aspire to be. And at some point, most seasons, more than not, you get knocked out of that at some point because there's only one champion. So whenever that day does come, then it's all about building for the next one. And to do that, it's just, again, it goes back to the attitude and effort people put in. So that's always kind of been our mindset for 20-some years. Obviously, it's a little more realistic for us to maybe operate at a higher level now than it was in '99. But nonetheless, it's always a challenge. What we do is very competitive. This conference is competitive. And as it pertains to right now where we're at, the best we could do is be an 11-win team, which would really be significant. Citrus Bowl champions, that would be significant. And there's a million reasons to play. But even when we were 1-9 in '99, that still was a big game playing Minnesota. And it's a chance to win a game. Anytime you go out and compete, that's what you're trying to do.
This is a big developmental period for you during Gold, correct?
Yeah.
Any guys flash to kind of make a leap?
Yeah, several. I'm not going to.
No names?
Yeah, no. But we even before we left, I left for India, actually. I just asked the staff, at the end of the week, I said, jot down 3-5 names of the first-year guys that are really impressing you. Because, there's a lot of scout team work going on. Obviously, a couple guys are in the too deep. But, it's always interesting to see what the coaches look at. I really don't care about guys they're disappointed in because, they're young. In the first year, most of them have a lot to learn. But, it's always interesting that we're seeing that. And that's one of the great benefits of a bowl game is just this opportunity to work guys that have been on the look teams all season long and work them in our offense, our defense. And, you always see things that are encouraging. But it's just kind of like what we're talking about with the team overall. It's a day-to-day process. And if we're doing it right, guys, we'll get better. And it's fun to see some guys really start to not just first-year guys, but other guys starting to maybe show some signs that, maybe next spring they can prove that they can really help us be a better football team.
Any update on the OC search?
Yeah, no, nothing really, no. So obviously it's tabled right now. Focus is right on this game, but hope to have a clear idea first 2-3 weeks of January. I'd like to think by the third week of January we got it done, but feel really optimistic right now, and we'll end up with a really good person. So
think about 2 years ago, you got beat pretty badly in the Big Ten title game. Came back against Kentucky, and the offense was pretty good, honestly. Close to 7 yards of play, maybe more than that. How much growth has the offense made this period, and how much better can it get?
Yeah, I think we're seeing some good things, and we're certainly capable. It's this way. Offensive football just generally is all about execution. I think the biggest challenge is, can we focus a little bit better? Can we make the makeable plays? And I talk about that all the time. It's really what the game gets down to. If you can do something beyond, the routine stuff, that's always great. And to win at a high level, you got to do that. But it all starts with just making the makeables, which means not having a receiver false start when they shouldn't be listening to cadence. Just things like that, little things. Dropping balls that are catchable. Blowing a protection, whatever it may be. Those things that are drive stoppers, and that's really what usually, stops offenses or derails them. When you play a good team, which in bowl season, you're always going to play a good opponent. They're going to make some plays too because they got good players, but we've got to try to minimize what they can do and maximize what we can do. So hopefully we'll see improvement and progress.
Kirk, when it comes to the extra year guys, what are the main factors that they are weighing and the main pieces of advice you give them, whether or not they're staying or going?
It's probably a little different story for each and every guy. And one commonality, there's no easy decisions for guys. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. And what we try to share with them is, take your time, because unless you got to make a decision today, you'll probably have more information, better information within a week or 2 weeks, whatever it may be. And then ultimately it's about them doing what they need to do, what they feel is in their heart. Does us no good for a guy to come back if he's not fully invested. Riley Moss chose to come back, surprised all of us. He was fully invested and played unbelievably well, practiced out of sight. So that's an example of a guy who made the right decision. But you got to be, hopefully they're enthused either way, whatever they decide. The other message is, like, if a guy chooses not to come back, like, don't feel like we're mad at you, because nobody here is mad. I'm not mad at TJ Hawkinson. And unfortunately he got injured, and he's got a tough battle. He'll do great. But nobody's mad at him for leaving. He earned the right to make that choice. So when guys leave, they're Hawkeyes. But it's ultimately about what's best for them. Kind of like recruiting. Make a decision that's best for you, and kind of be presumptuous for us to think that we know best. When it comes to somebody else's, what their goals may be.
What does it mean to have Brian here this week, and what will you remember most about his time with the program as a player and a coach?
I'm appreciative he's here. I'm appreciative he's coached the last 5 games. So, first and foremost, appreciative of that. I'm appreciative he's been a coach for 12 years in the program. Has been fully invested, done a lot of really good things for us, and his contributions are really been very valuable. Like a lot of guys on the staff, he's been a great staff member. And then his career, 5 years, left a couple of body parts out there. I mean, he. It's important to him. It's always been important to him, and I respect appreciate the fact that he's out here. I don't want to speak for him, but I think, part of his motivation is, like all of us, he cares about the players we work with on a day-to-day basis. And I've said it many times, the best part of our job, my job is the people I get to work with on a day-to-day basis. And, it's tough to minimize that. So, our focus right now is on winning this football game, doing the best we can, and appreciate him, his efforts, just like everybody on the staff.
Any more questions?
What did it mean to have Jay make the announcement that he's coming back, both from a obvious physical standpoint, but also intangibles seem to be off the charts?
It's interesting. I was going to say his experience, but you think about it, it's not like he's a 3-year starter, but it feels that way. And just the one thing about Jay that's been so consistent since he's gotten here is his attitude. It's just. And that's what we liked about him in recruiting, quite frankly. When you meet him face to face, get to visit with him a little bit, you just feel like there's something there that maybe other people are missing. And I think he's shown that throughout his career. He's been a good special teams guy. Last year played a lot of snaps, scrimmage snaps. And that's with 2 other guys that are pretty good players playing. This year, just we thought he'd play really well. We knew he'd be a strong leader. I think it's safe to say he exceeded our expectations, all the tackles he's made. So that's really been impressive. To get a player back like that, and I go back 2 years ago, you got Laporta, Campbell came back with that little break of getting ready for this game. And they both came back from that little break and both walked in my office within a half hour of each other, said they're coming back. It was like, oh, that's good. Just because of who they were. Not only good players, but who they were. So, to have his leadership back is important. Obviously, he's a good football player, and the more guys that come back for the right reasons, it's a good thing for us.
What have you seen from Deacon this past month? Now he's had a little bit of time to work on things after getting thrown into the fire.
Yeah, I think he's improved each and every week since going back to October. Always room to as long as he's going to be here, there's going to be things he can get better at. But I think he's more confident, a little bit more decisive, and all these reps we talked about for the younger guys, they're important for everybody on the team if they're using them right, and he certainly, I think, has done a good job of that.
What about Marco?
Same thing. I think Marco's really, maybe a bigger bonus for him because he hasn't been playing in the games. So it's a little bit like, last year at Joe Labus, December was huge for him. And it's kind of like they're drinking through a fire hose, but it's been really good for him, and he's improved immensely too. So that part's fun, fun to see the growth.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks guys.
everybody.